Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. So once again, a very warm welcome. And I am Shelja Shukla. I am a senior nutritionist at Prolicious, working as a content strategist. And I am here once again with Shilpa Joshi ma'am. And together we are going to talk about diabetes management since it's World Diabetes Day. But before that, I would want to give you a quick introduction about our company. So, at Prolicious, our mission is to put the health and taste in the same bite. And we give, 20% protein in all our products because, as suggested by NIN guidelines, it is very much needed for the better metabolic health. And our protein, we source our protein from whole foods. So we don't use any isolates or concentrates or anything else. But it is, we give you protein from the kitchen staples, the food which you already are aware of, familiar with, and you love. And all our products are high in fiber. So each serving will give you 5 grams or more, across all the range of our products. So as I mentioned, today is World Diabetes Day, and today we are going to talk about diabetes management. Since diabetes management is such a thing that it is so common, and everywhere you will only get to listen only one suggestion कि roti kam kar do, sugar kam kar do, rice kam kar do, and you are sorted, right? But diabetes management is much more beyond about carbohydrates. There are much more things you need to understand, much more things you need to think about, and there are so many studies going on regularly, and likewise we will get to know a lot more thing about diabetes.
Good afternoon, everybody. And today is World Diabetes Day. It's 14th of
Hello.
November. And today we are going to be speaking on diabetes management beyond carbohydrates. Okay, this is me. Most of you know me. And thank you very much for being here and being part of the journey. Okay, so World Diabetes Day, actually, why does it matter? So it was World Diabetes Day was founded by International Diabetes Federation and WHO in year 1991. So it's not very old, and it is commemorated on the day of the birthday of Dr. Banting. Dr. Banting was one of the researchers who was responsible for discovering insulin. Insulin was discovered by Dr. Banting and Dr. Best. So it's the birthday of Dr. Banting, which is called as World Diabetes Day. What was the goal of having World Diabetes Day? Goal was to raise awareness on prevention, access, and management of diabetes globally, and hence 14th November is globally celebrated as World Diabetes Day, and it's also Children's Day in India. So let's all be children, keep our minds open to learning new things. So to raise awareness, prevention, access, and management of diabetes, we are going to be speaking today. So we all know there is a growing burden of diabetes globally. About 589 million have diabetes. Yeah, this is the data from the Atlas, that is the 11th edition, which was published last year. Diabetes is projected to rise from 853 million to about 853 million by year 2050. That is nearly one.
Ma'am, your skin is not visible.
What is not visible?
Your screen is not visible.
I don't know why. I have not done nothing. Nobody can see my screen.
No, no, it's
Yes,
visible.
it is visible, ma'am. Now it is moving.
Okay.
It's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So by 2050, nearly 1 in every 9 adults is projected to have diabetes. In India, we had about 32 million person with diabetes in year 2000, and we had about 90 million people with diabetes in 2024, and it is projected to be greater than 150 million by year 2050. So it's a pandemic of diabetes that we are having. Oh, and what is very, very scary is over 250 million individuals with diabetes actually remain undiagnosed. So those are the people who really do not know that they have diabetes because they have never checked their blood glucose. Now we are looking at beyond carbs, balanced nutrition for glycemic benefits. So like Shalja said in her introduction, that most of the time when it comes to diabetes and nutritional management, the typical answer is roti mat khao, chawal mat khao, meetha mat khao, aloo mat khao, and so forth. So basically, it is about carbohydrate restriction. But let's take a peek beyond that. What is beyond carbohydrate restriction? So traditional diabetes diets focused on carbohydrate restriction alone and nothing else. However, refined carb heavy diets. Now, what are refined carbs? That's another thing. That is because in today's market, we are having refined rice. Our wheat and millets are also refined. Recently, couple of years back, Dr. Mohan's group published a paper to show most of the millets available in Indian markets are also refined. Now, they dominate Indian meals. About 60 to 70% of the calories that we consume are actually refined, coming from carbohydrates, out of which more than half are coming from refined carbohydrates. New evidence, that is ICMR INDIAP study published, shows that a modest reduction in carbohydrate and replacing it by protein and some amount of healthy fats improves outcomes of diabetes, which is typically measured as a change in HbA1c. Balanced macronutrients promote sustainable glucose control and metabolic health. And it is not just the blood glucose that we are worried about. When it comes to diabetes, what are we worried about? We are not only worried about blood glucose, but we are also worried about the complications that come up with high blood glucose. What are these complications? Both microvascular and macrovascular. So you have your retinopathy, nephropathy, so on and so forth, neuropathy, gastroparesis, heart disease, and other things. And therefore, having diabetes is like having a red carpet for metabolic diseases to walk on. So once you prevent diabetes, you are also preventing many other things along with it. Okay, protein. Now, protein is the foundation of metabolic health. How? Adequate protein preserves lean mass, enhances satiety, and reduces post-meal glucose spikes. All of this is what we want. I do not know how many of you are aware, but there was a paper a couple of years back which showed that when HbA1c is less than 8, then it is your postprandial sugar that actually contributes, and when it is greater than 8, it is your fasting sugar that is a greater contributor. Now, more often than not, we find that there is a lot of people who have HbA1c below 8, but 6.5. And in these people, you have a huge problem of postprandial glucose spikes. And that's a problem which is exaggerated in India because all our meals are carb heavy. And therefore, advantage of having protein in that meal is it will enhance satiety, but more than that, it will reduce the post-meal glucose spike. Recommended intake of protein is 0.8 to 1 gram per kg body weight, adjusted for renal function. Of course, if the creatinine is high, if EGFR is low, you would want to take lower. High quality sources are milk, curd, pulse, soya, paneer, egg, fish, and lean meat. Clinical trials show that protein-enriched diets improve HbA1c, fasting glucose, and lipids. Sorry. Okay. Another unsung hero of this diabetes management or metabolic health management is fiber. When I was a student, fiber was not even considered as one of the nutrients. Now, today it holds the prime place. This is really the unsung hero of metabolic management. Now, fiber, we all know there are two kinds of fibers: soluble fibers like beta-glucan, mucilages, gums, etc. They are present in foods like oats, legumes, fruits, slow the glucose absorption and improve insulin sensitivity. Now, soluble fiber is the fiber which is important for metabolic health. Insoluble fiber, which is found in vegetables, bran, whole grains, adds to satiety and supports weight control. So insoluble fiber is actually helping you in overcoming constipation, in increasing satiety, and therefore helping you to control weight. But if you want metabolic benefit like lowering of blood glucose, if you want lowering of lipids, then it is the soluble fiber that you require. Now, what is the recommendation? Recommendation is very simple from from ADA, WHO is 14 grams per 1,000 calories. Now, typically we are looking at people consuming about close to 2,000 calories, and hence the recommendation comes to 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day from diverse sources. Mechanism, what is the mechanism? How does the fiber work? Fermentation of soluble fiber releases short chain fatty acids. These short chain fatty acids become fodder for the enterocytes and therefore improve the gut health, reduce the inflammation, and therefore they are very, very important for our metabolic health. Micronutrient adequacy in diabetes management, nearly 45% of people with type 2 diabetes have greater than one micronutrient deficiency. And if you look at Indian scenario, I think it is also a global scenario, but more pronounced in India is vitamin B12 because we are essentially a vegetarian population. Vitamin D, I think globally is low. In India, because there is high consumption of refined food, therefore magnesium, zinc in people who do not eat many pulses, do not eat sprouts, do not eat nuts, you find zinc deficiency. Folate deficiency comes in individuals who do not enjoy fresh fruits and vegetables, and of course vitamin A, C, and E. So what is the role of micronutrients? Micronutrients are essentially catalysts. They help in glucose metabolism, they help in insulin signaling, they help in antioxidant defense and inflammation reduction, and therefore consuming micronutrients is also very, very important. Rising prediabetes in children and in adolescents, and this is something which is really something that we should all be concerned about. There is increased rates of prediabetes and early onset of type 2 diabetes among youth. And what are the key contributors? Yes, there is a genetic component to it. But besides genetic component, what is the lifestyle component? Lifestyle component is high carb snacking, sugary beverages, sedentary habits, and of course, genetic predisposition. And therefore, it is very, very important that early education on balanced nutrition and physical activity should be given to children along with their regular education. It's not only children, their parents have to be educated about balanced, nutritious meals. Parents should emphasize eating home-based foods more often. Parents should emphasize consuming vegetables and fruits. They should emphasize consuming protein. So I think this is something, therefore, nutritional education should become part of basic education. Gestational diabetes, again, nutritional management, what happens? The main objective here is to maintain normoglycemia and to prevent macrosomia. Along with insulin, medical nutrition therapy and physical activity actually can, just medical nutrition therapy and physical activity can manage about 90% of GDM. Only 10% people require insulin. What are the dietary goals? Adequate protein, complex carbs, fiber-rich meals, and controlled glycemic load. Often than not, women, when they are pregnant, they feel like it is a free pass to eat what they like. And that is not so, because we have one of the highest rates of gestational diabetes globally. Frequent smaller meals are recommended to avoid blood glucose spikes. So what is the advantage of plant protein? Plant protein provides fiber. Along with it, it provides phytonutrients, and it is lower in saturated fatty acids. So now what happens is, when you take protein from animal sources, the most important thing that it lacks is fiber. Also remember how animal food is eaten in India. In India, and when animal food is eaten, it does not matter if it's plant-based, so it doesn't matter if it's vegetarian or non-vegetarian. For example, if somebody is eating chicken, they will not eat sabzi or they'll not eat salad with it. Similarly, if somebody is eating paneer, they will not eat sabzi or salad with it. So though both are animal sourced food, one is vegetarian, one is non-vegetarian, people do not, it lacks fiber and people do not add fiber to such food. and therefore consuming a protein which innately has fiber is very important. Where are you getting these plant proteins from? You're getting them from soy, from lentils, from pulses, from legumes. They improve gut and metabolic health. Micronutrients like magnesium and folate is abundant in plant food, and those insulin action encourage mixed protein sources for a balanced amino acid profile. So what is the key takeaway for healthcare professional? We need to shift our focus and see always, like I would say, in very colloquially, लो कार्ब की माला जपने के बजाय राइट कार्ब की माला जपना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. So shift your focus away from low carb to right carb. And what are right carbs? Because the moment you tell people don't eat something, they want to eat only that. So instead of telling them don't eat, we have to find them right things to eat. Okay, so we need to prioritize whole grain and fiber. Encourage protein in every meal for satiety and glycemic stability. Now, this is something that I speak to everybody, people in my family, whenever I'm going for talks in conferences and to my patients. I tell them, everybody, when we say protein in every meal, we literally mean every meal. And what is a definition? Definition of meal is a eating event. Meal does not mean lunch and dinner. Meal also means breakfast. Meal also means snack. So every time you're eating a meal, and that meal should have protein in it. Address micronutrient deficiencies to improve overall metabolic health. Very, very important. We are too stuck on protein. We do not think of micronutrients. They are as important as macros are. And micronutrients are what helps macronutrients to improve the health and promote patient-centered, evidence-based dietary guidelines rather than our patients relying on WhatsApp University. Thank you so much for a patient hearing, and I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end. Over to you, Shailja. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Can you hear clearly?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so Mr. Prakash has raised his answer. Sir, if you have any questions, we are happy to take it towards the end. We just have to, discuss few more things and before we move on. So thank you so much, ma'am. That was a very wonderful, session and wonderful information. I hope and I believe कि जितने भी लोग आज इस कॉल पे मौजूद हैं, उनके घर पे, there will be at least one person जिनको वो जानते होंगे, जिनको डायबिटीज है. एंड आई होप कि आप घर जाके आप ये बताएंगे कि सिर्फ चावल और चीनी छोड़ने से आपका डायबिटीज ठीक नहीं होगा, मैनेज नहीं होगा, बट देयर आर 100 things more you need to understand and you need to take care about. So as ma'am rightly mentioned about plant protein and emphasis of protein and fiber in diabetes management and in any metabolic health related issues, I would like to ask you all that do you in your practice or have your patients generally ask you what should they prefer or what should they include? Because as ma'am said, कि protein की deficiency या protein का intake पूरा करने के लिए there is a lot of people who are already aware कि protein उनके लिए क्या कर सकता है. They have this डब्बा जिसको वो लोग एक टाइम पे जस्ट ले लेते हैं कि एक स्कूप हो गया, आज का मेरा दिन का कोटा खत्म. बट एज मैम राइटली मेंशन्ड अबाउट कि प्रोटीन हमें हर मील में लेना है, हर ईटिंग इवेंट पे लेना है. सो आपको ऐसे कोई क्वेश्चंस है तो डेफिनेटली प्लीज type it in the chat box and keep so that ma'am can answer it towards the end of the session. And on that front, I would like to introduce something which is very helpful and very useful for a lot of us thinking that we should be completing our protein requirement and we need something which is convenient, we need something which is tasty, we need something which does not allow our favorite foods to go off, our routine or eating habits. So I would want to introduce Prolicious Uppet to you. So Prolicious Uppet is not a protein powder or a protein supplement, but I would like to call it as a protein and fiber enhancer. Why do I call it as a protein and fiber enhancer? I will tell you. So it's a natural protein and fiber enhancer because it is made with the natural kitchen ingredients, whole moong and low-fat peanut flour, just two ingredients. It is made with just two ingredients. It is pre-cooked and that's the reason it is ready to eat. And by meaning ready to eat, you can definitely have it in your water, or you can, have it, as you like. It has no additives, no preservatives, no sweeteners, as a lot of protein supplements have. And people who do not or can't take, protein supplements as easy as they want to, they can definitely opt for Prolicious Uppit. So just 3 scoops of Prolicious Uppit will give you 20 grams of protein, which is approximately 20% of your daily protein requirement. 1 scoop has protein equal to the protein you will get from the egg, and twice the amount of protein which you can get from your dals or paneer. So any vegetarian for that matter, I am a vegetarian, and I know it's so difficult to meet your protein requirements daily, because आप कितना दाल खाओगे, आप कितना पनीर खाओगे, right? You get taste fatigue. But with Prolicious Uppit, that's not the case. I will tell you why. And it has a lot more features. Apart from it is made of 2 natural ingredients, and it gives you protein, 20 grams of protein. So it is gluten free. So anybody who has gluten sensitivity, or they cannot tolerate gluten, can have it. It has all 9 essential amino acids, which is a very rare case when it comes to plant based protein, because आपको multiple combinations बनाकर खाना होता है amino acids का profile पूरा करने के लिए, and that's not the case with Uppit. It has all the 9 essential amino acids. It is gut friendly because it has fiber. So natural fiber, obviously it helps in your digestion, and it makes your gut smooth. So koi bloating, koi gassiness आपको इससे नहीं होगा. And it is good for the whole family, because 5-year-old kid can also have Uppit, and 88-year-old grandfather also can have Uppit. So it is completely versatile and very good and perfect fit for your whole family. It's food that you can add to your food. Yes, you can add 1 scoop of Uppit in your any recipes, and you can make it as tasty as possible. No change in taste, and it is effortlessly versatile, meaning you can have it in your roti, chas, dal, soup, or any uh, Italian or Mexican or whatever dish you would like to make. So these are just few applications which are very common, and a lot of our customers are using Uppit in the same manner. So they add it in their wheat roti, and you can definitely see the difference. Wheat roti with Uppit will have 9.8 grams of protein, but regular roti will give you only 4.63. And the beauty about Uppit is कि rotis इससे काफी soft रहती है even after 4 to 5 hours. Whereas in normal scenario, rotis काफी कड़क हो जाती है, and it is not palatable to eat. So that's one thing. And something as delicious and as tasty as aloo tikki is also can be protein rich, because आप इसके batter में 1 scoop Uppit डाल देंगे, and definitely you are increasing your protein approximately by 7 grams. So that's the beauty. You can add it in your soup. You can add it in your upma. So your breakfast is also sorted. You can add it in your chas. If nothing is possible, definitely you take your masala chas, add your protein Uppit, and you are sorted for the day. So these are few things, and these are few things which we have tried personally. So have you ever imagined you can make instant hummus? So hummus के लिए, I know kitchen में जो भी ladies है, they will know कि how tiring it is to make hummus. You need to soak chickpeas, you need to boil those, you need to grind those. But with Uppit, you can definitely make instant hummus. You just need to add the few ingredients, and it is ready. It is as delicious, as nutritious, even more nutritious. We have tried mousse also. So desserts also, you can make it healthy. You can make it protein rich guacamole. So a lot of people like avocado, and it is good fats. But if you add Uppit, you will get good amount of protein as well. And we also have a wide range of protein snacks range, which are high in protein, high in fiber, and all are made with whole foods. So you can definitely try those, and it is completely natural and completely gut friendly. And we are available at Amazon, Blinkit, Flipkart, Swiggy, Instamart, and obviously at our own website, www.prolicious.com. So if you guys have any question and answers, ma'am is here to answer your query, and please type your questions in the chat box, and you can obviously raise your hand also. We will unmute you and you can ask your questions. To you, ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone. Just waiting for your questions. Thank you so much, Avinash ji. Thank you so much. Means a lot. If you guys have any questions, please do ask. Ma'am is here and definitely she will. Okay, we have one question, ma'am. So, can individuals with diabetes take magnesium supplements?
Yeah, they can take magnesium supplements, but they should take this supplement under medical guidance.
Okay. So, this thing I hope we have answered your query. Definitely, you can reach out to your healthcare professional and check with them if you can have magnesium supplement. How come there is no preservatives in Prolicious Upit? Oh, very interesting question. So, प्रोलिशियस अपिट हम बनाते हैं 2 नेचुरल इंग्रेडिएंट से, हम उसको एक्सट्रूडर से एक्सट्रूड करते हैं एंड उसका पाउडर बनाते हैं एंड वी डोंट ऐड एनीथिंग एंड दैट्स व्हाई उसका शेल्फ लाइफ भी कम है, 6 months एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू इंक्रीज बिकॉज इन इंडिया अगर उसका शेल्फ लाइफ कम है मतलब इट इज नेचुरल, बिकॉज इफ यू से सी एनी नेचुरल फूड विच यू मेक एट होम वो 2 दिन में या 3 दिन में खराब हो जाएगा. And that's the reason we avoid adding any preservatives, because nobody likes preservatives. So that's the reason. But you can definitely reach out to us and we can have more chat on this. Rituparna ji, I would like to connect with you one-on-one to explain you more about this. So ma'am, there is one more question from Heath. Can poor sleep quality lead to higher morning glucose levels in diabetic patients?
Yes, they can lead to higher morning glucose levels in person with diabetes. Definitely, if you have not got enough sleep or correct quality of sleep, you will see higher blood sugar levels in person with diabetes.
And ma'am, any suggestions or tips to improve, this morning blood sugars apart from sleep? Any suggestion?
No, suggestion is, if there are many reasons why one gets up with a higher fasting blood glucose. One is the blood glucose that you sleep with is high itself. So your post dinner was high and that high sugar continued through the night, and in morning you got up with high blood sugar. The reason for high blood sugar is a dip in blood glucose at around 3 a.m. That is called as early morning hypoglycemia. So a lot of people, we find that the blood sugar dips down to about 70 or so at 3 a.m. and that leads to a rise of blood glucose in the morning. That can be one reason. Other reason can be, like he has said, lack of sleep. Other reason can be stress. So a lot of shift workers can have varying blood sugars in the morning because they have not slept through the night. Stress can be another reason why there is increased blood sugar in the morning.
Okay, ma'am. Manish is asking, you mentioned that the product has only 9, whereas 21 amino acids and protein. Okay. So, Manish ji, definitely you are correct. 21 amino acids होते हैं, and we need 9 essential amino acids जो हमारी body खुद produce नहीं कर पाती है, and that's why we need it from the food. So बाकी के जो अमाइनो एसिड्स है वो हमारी बॉडी खुद प्रोड्यूस करती है, इसलिए हमें उसको फूड से लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. बट जो 9 एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड्स हमारी बॉडी नहीं बनाती है, दैट वी गेट फ्रॉम द फूड. एंड इन द प्लांट बेस्ड सेटअप, सीरियल एंड पल्स का कॉम्बिनेशन बनाना पड़ता है हमें टू गेट द कंप्लीट प्रोफाइल. एंड नॉन वेजिटेरियन एंड एनिमल बेस्ड फूड में वो ऑलरेडी होता है, एंड दैट्स द रीजन आई मेंशन कि इसमें 9 एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड्स है because of the combination of boom and peanut. I hope I have answered your query. Ma'am, we have one more question. Can post-meal walking help reduce postprandial glucose spikes in individuals with diabetes, and how much walking is considered effective?
So yes, about 10 to 15 minutes of walking post-meal actually helps you to maintain a blood sugar and prevent a spike. But again, this walking should not be brisk. That's the first thing, because you have eaten food. You can walk in fact, walking helps. So walking is important post meals.
And ma'am, we have one more question. For LADA patients, we can give them high protein diet.
Of course you can, as long as LADA is not complicated with a renal disease. So if your LADA is just LADA and there is no creatine rise or EGFR reduction, you can give them high protein. High protein ka matlab hai 1 to 1.2 grams per kg body weight. You can aram se give. You cannot give them ketogenic level of protein, but otherwise regular, by Indian context, even 1 gram protein per kg body weight constitutes to be high protein diet, and you can aram se give them that high protein.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Kishorji, do you have anything to ask?
Yeah. Hello. Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, the omega-3 supplements, there are a lot of omega-3 supplements that are available in the market. Are those beneficial for the diabetic patient? Because there are which omega-3, like omega-3, 6, 7, 9 is available. Again, the omega-3 fish oil is available.
So,
Which
yeah.
one is better for a diabetic patient?
So,
And that helps to control the diabetes.
no, it does not help in controlling diabetes, helps in controlling triglycerides. Triglyceride in your lipid profile is the fat portion. So it helps in controlling triglycerides. Fish oils are the most effective because they have both EPA, that is eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, that is docosahexaenoic acid. In vegetarian sourced omega-3 fatty acid, it is very difficult to find EPA. There is always DHA in it. EPA is very important for this metabolic benefit. So yes, one can take in, but it is not going to reduce your blood sugar. It is going to help you to reduce triglyceride. And triglyceride is 99% a problem in all patients with diabetes.
Okay, got it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Kishorji. We have one more question from Mr. Prakash. Can meditation control blood pressures?
Can meditation control?
Blood measures, maybe blood sugars.
Blood sugars. It depends how. So you can't say that I'll not do diet, I'll not take medicine, and I'll only meditate, and my blood sugar will come down. That's not how blood sugar comes down. But yes, in the larger scheme of things, like we call it, diabetes management is a multi-pronged approach. One thing doesn't work. So can only taking medicine help? No. Can only diet help? No. Can only exercise help? No. Similarly, only meditation will not help. If it is a part of multi-pronged approach where you are doing everything and also you are meditating, it will help. It will enhance the effect.
I hope, Prakashji, that answers your question. One more question from Ms. Priya. How to reduce on glucose in GDM in last trimester?
Okay, so now it all depends upon what the situation is, how high are the blood sugars. The first thing is you should all know what are the cutoffs for blood sugars in GDM. Fasting less than 92, 1 hour postprandial less than 140, 2 hours postprandial less than 120. These are cutoffs. They are not cutoffs for diabetes. Normally, type 2 diabetes ka cutoffs and GDM ka cutoffs are very, very different. GDM cutoffs are much lower, at least 10 milligrams per DL lower. Now, yes, you can give a very efficient diet and try to drop blood glucose, but the recommendation by all the prime bodies across the world is you have to give diet and exercise a chance for 2 weeks. If the blood glucose does not come to the desired levels in 2 weeks, they will have to start medication or insulin on you as they deem to be fit.
Okay. One more question by Dr. Kushali. What's your opinion about diabetes reversal?
So, Dr. Kushali, there is nothing like diabetes reversal. There is diabetes remission. And we all know that there is a criteria for diabetes remission, that the diabetes should be newly diagnosed. Preferably, there should be no complication. The patient should have a higher BMI, that is higher body weight, and then weight loss, drastic caloric reduction, drastic carbohydrate reduction along with a drastic weight loss, you will see remission of diabetes, but remission will stay as long as the diet is maintained. So we have seen in trials like direct trial that people who stopped following the same diet, they gained weight and then their blood sugars started becoming high. So my opinion is, rather than looking at drastic things like remission, how about looking at tight control? Yeah, so wherever you are, tightly maintain the HbA1c to a point where there are no complications.
I hope that answered your query, Dr. Kushari. Can cinnamon water be used for diabetes management? How does it help?
So cinnamon water by itself is not a magic wand. Like I said, in multi-pronged approach, in MNT, you could offer cinnamon water as one of the uh, uh, therapeutic
Things.
agents to help you. It has cinnamic acid, which can help. But again, how much are you giving cinnamon? One milligram. You're not giving like 1 spoon of cinnamon because that will cause acidity. So you can give and see, it is more often than not going to work more effectively in people with pre-diabetes rather than people with diabetes on multiple drugs. So if patient is already taking 2-3 drugs, cinnamon is not going to help much. But if the patient is in pre-diabetes, yes, it's going to help.
Okay. And Rituparna ji is asking, can you please tell us about that HbA1c concept once again, which you mentioned in your lecture?
So the HbA1c concept that I mentioned is when HbA1c is lesser than 8.8, 8.5, then postprandial blood sugar is the main culprit. And if it is greater than that, then the fasting glucose is the main culprit. So in India, we see that most main culprit of our diets. See, the problem with Indians is our insulin sensitivity is very low. So there is a very beautiful experiment. It is published, I just don't remember the journal, that there were biscuits made. Okay, and that biscuit packet, few biscuits were given to Indian and few biscuits were given to Caucasians. Caucasians are white people, European people. Okay, same, सबका उनका body weight match किया था, उनका सब कुछ match किया था, everything was matched, and they were given same amount of biscuits, that is same amount of carbohydrate. Indians showed higher blood glucose response to the same amount of carbohydrate as compared to their European counterparts. And this goes to show that we have lower insulin sensitivity as it is. On top of that, we keep eating more carbohydrates as compared to any other nation in this world. And therefore, the problem is occurring.
Okay. I hope, Rituparna ji, that was clear to you. And we have one more question. What is your take on dietary cholesterol intake for prevention of premature cardiovascular disease in diabetic patients?
So I am really not aware of whether dietary cholesterol intake is going to help in premature CVD in patients with diabetes. I am not very sure about that. But dietary cholesterol, when it is taken in, we know that the majority of cholesterol which is implicated in CVD is cholesterol which is created in your liver. So it is indigenous production of cholesterol. And we know that HMG-CoA, enzyme HMG-CoA, which is the first step of production of cholesterol, actually the positive positive catalyst for it is insulin. So in people who have insulin resistance and high level of insulin in the body, they will indigenously produce higher cholesterol. Therefore, you will see most of the people with insulin resistance having higher LDL cholesterols or total cholesterols. When we see our patients, we see that in their reports. So if you can actually control your insulin resistance, you can become leaner, you can control the amount of insulin which is there, you will be able to control your lipids better.
Any courses like diabetic educators for dietitian?
I didn't understand. She wants information on that.
Yeah.
You have to approach me. I can't be talking in this panel about other courses, right? You can call me up and I can help you.
Yeah, so Dr. Kushali, you can reach out to us and definitely will help you with that. There are a lot of institutes which you offer, but definitely will
IDF,
guide you.
IDF offers, you can go online on IDF, www.idf.org, and there are diabetes education courses there. And they are
Perfect.
available online, they're very easy. As in, because they are online, they are easy. You can sit at
Yeah,
home and
convenient.
take advantage.
Absolutely.
The right word is convenient, not easy.
Okay. And yes, Harpreet ji definitely will share the recording of this session maximum by tomorrow. You will definitely get the recording. Ritu Khanna ji, thank you so much, ma'am. Please. Okay, he wants to say you thank you. Sujata ji is also saying thank you, Shilpa ma'am. What should be diet advice for juvenile diabetic children?
Right. That is like a 3-hour session. So again, if there is somebody who has type 1 diabetes, I am believing juvenile, because there's nothing like juvenile diabetes. Now we have enough and more juveniles having type 2 diabetes also. So if it is type 1 diabetes, we use a technique called as carb counting, where we count carbohydrates and adjust insulin dose basis the amount of carbohydrates that are being consumed.
So, Shruti ji, definitely you can reach out to your healthcare professional and they will guide you, on a personalized basis because it's a very personalized thing. And as ma'am mentioned, it needs adjustment. So, thank you so much for asking that question, though. Rita Anand ma'am is saying, thank you for answering, Shilpa ji.
Thank you.
Any more questions? We can take one or two more questions. Or you can raise your hand and ask your questions directly. We'll unmute you. Can we have a session on carb counting? She's asking.
Right here. I don't know about you, but yes, we can if you approach me personally.
Yes, Aditi, you can reach out to Shilpa ma'am and she will definitely help you pick up और कैसे कर सकते हैं. Mr. Prakash is asking why high protein lead to fullness or satiety.
So when there is high protein in the diet, there is less rise of insulin. And insulin is what actually makes you hungry. So postprandial insulin rise makes you feel hungry. So there is reduction in insulin, and that is one reason why you feel less hungry. Second is there is delayed gastric emptying, means the amount of time taken for stomach to leave, food to leave the stomach into the intestine is called as gastric emptying. Carbohydrates empty the fastest. That is why when you eat carbohydrate in 2 hours, you feel hungry because the food is emptied into intestine, पेट खाली हो जाता है. But when there is protein eaten, it takes a longer time, so पेट भरा हुआ रहता है and therefore you don't feel hungry.
Rita Anandji is asking few tips for reducing GI and GL in day-to-day life. Practical tips.
GL के लिए तो कम खाना बहुत जरूरी है because it's the load. So if you eat smaller portion of anything, you're automatically reducing the glycemic load. Well, glycemic index, I'm not a very big fan of glycemic index because very confused. So adding fat will reduce the glycemic index, but it will increase the calories. The other way is to add protein. Again, it will increase the calories. Yeah. Other way is to add organic acid. Other way is to sparsely cook the food, not overcook it. Keep it al dente. So that's another way is to add fiber. That is, add a lot of vegetables to what you are eating.
Does whey protein increase insulin levels? Harpreet ji.
Yes, whey protein could increase the insulin levels. Yes, they could.
Okay. Any more questions? Please let us know if you have more questions. So it should be avoided in diabetes.
Avoided in diabetics. There is a prudent mixture. So when they are giving you a whey protein based supplement, especially MNT based supplement, see to it that it is a combination. It is not just whey protein. So do it under medical supervision and you will be fine.
Okay. Thank you so much, Harpreet ji, for asking that question. How do you increase the digestibility of protein?
So couple of things. If it's a vegetarian protein, soaking increases the digestibility, sprouting increases the digestibility, well cooking it well means, for example, pressure cooking improves its digestibility, roasting improves its digestibility. So processing the protein will improve digestibility of protein.
Okay. How can one manage diabetes for people working night shifts?
It's very, very difficult, especially their early morning fasting, because they are not only awake all through the night, because they are awake, they're also eating all through the night. So it is difficult. It requires long hours of consultation and speaking to them and finding out some solutions. So there is no one standard solution which I can tell that do this and it will get controlled. No, it will be individual. You need to talk to each client separately.
So, Harshita ji, it is very personalized, and you can definitely talk to your healthcare professional for that. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. A lot of questions and a lot of learning. I hope the session was helpful to you. And as promised, we will definitely share the recordings with you. And you can revisit the recording and understand. And if you have any questions, please do reach out to us, write us, and we will definitely get back to you very soon. Okay, thank you, Shilpa ma'am and organizers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the session. We'll meet you soon next month, second week, second Friday of the month, and definitely with one more interesting topic. Thank you so much, everyone. It was lovely meeting you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpa ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
presentation, Dr. Shilpa and team. Wonderful. Lot of learnings.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yadav. Thank you so much. Means a lot.